I know this is not going to be a popular opinion, and I know that this might trigger some of us because this information is not information that you want to hear per se. It's not something that you want to think about, and it's not something that you want to believe is true. But I can promise you that it's real and that it's true. And that is why I'm making this video so that we can talk about it. The transfer portal is a great way to go in and to get talent. Got that. However, I want us to always remember that just because somebody is rated high in the transfer portal doesn't mean they're actually a great player and rated high when it comes to other people in like positions that are not transferring. Let me give you an example. If an offensive guard enters into the transfer portal, let's say that there are 50 teams that have really good offensive lines, okay? There's 50 teams. And you have a right guard and a left guard. So if you have a right guard and a left guard, and a guard enters the portal, that means out of these 50 teams, you would then have 100 guards that play this position. Okay, so out of 100 people that play this position, those 100 people aren't entering the portal. They are not considered the top of the top when you compare all the other schools that have good offensive lines and you compare all the other guards. But they might be the best person or the top 5 person in the transfer portal because of the other people that have entered the transfer portal. So we have to keep things in context. Now, I do want to say that I totally understand that there are some people that do come from great places or whatever that enter the transfer portal and that those players are really good and those players you do want to get out of the transfer portal. I got that. That is 100% accurate. However, that is not everyone who's in the transfer portal. And just because you're rated or you're ranked high in the transfer portal doesn't necessarily mean you are ranked that high at that position when it's compared to other schools, because that's not how the transfer portal works. The transfer portal is giving you data based on who's in the portal, not data based on every single person that plays this position and how they would rank amongst everybody else that plays this position. And that's why sometimes when you focus so heavily on going to the portal, you don't know what you're going to get, because that person could be, you could get Colorado was ranked #1 transfer portal. That's fantastic. But you still don't really know what you got out of the transfer portal because they still need time to get better from what they were last year. They need to see if they fit into the system. They need to see how they're going to adjust. You need to see what type of person is showing up. So I just want us to take a deep breath whenever we start making these, well, the transfer portal. I got it, but it's not that simple. The transfer portal is something. I don't want us to think the transfer portal, though, is the answer. This is not to say that we might not get amazing things out of the transfer portal. I hope that we get phenomenal things out of the transfer portal. Hell, I hope linebackers from Georgia and Michigan and in Alabama and Florida State and insert whoever you think is a great university that has linebackers. I hope all of those guys from those teams enter the transfer portal. And I hope that Colorado goes and gets them. And quite frankly, if they're there, hell, I hope Texas goes and gets them too. I get the excitement of the transfer portal because it's like, yeah, we can get players, but all players aren't good players. And that is why you will start to see the teams that rely heavily on the transfer portal. You have to kind of wait and see. It's hard to judge a bunch of transfer portal guys, and that's okay. This video is not to be like, don't be excited that the transfer portal is opening. That is not my intention of this video. My intention of this video is that context matters. And let's remember that the people that are entering the transfer portal might not be the best of the best. Does that mean that we can't train them up to be the best of the best? Absolutely. We can absolutely do that. We can do that. Does that mean that there might not be diamond in the rough in the transfer portal that we get comes to Colorado and is amazing? Absolutely. That can absolutely happen. That can absolutely happen. So that is a factor. But I just am putting all this in context so that when this transfer portal happens and when things get open and when the floodgates open, that we remember and we are able to think about who we're getting, where they're coming from, and compare them to other people at that position, and not just compare them to the people that are in the transfer portal. Because I think when you do that, I think you're missing what we actually are getting, and you're missing the ability to evaluate the team correctly because you're not comparing them to the right people. You're only comparing them to other people in the transfer portal. And let's be honest, some people in that transfer portal might not even get picked up. Some people in that transfer portal might have to drop down. And so if you think about that, I know I'm kind of repeating myself, but I'm just cautioning us to make sure that we know what's actually happening with this transfer portal, and that we don't start assuming this transfer portal is going to fill all of our holes and make us right and make us all of these great things, because it's going to take time, and we still need to trust the process, because transfer portal doesn't equal success. Transfer portal just means that player didn't like what they were doing or whatever, and they decided they wanted to go somewhere else. So let's just take a deep breath and stay calm, and let's remember what the transfer portal is for what it's worth. And let's see what happens. And let's not overreact or underreact to anything that happens now that this transfer portal is open.